Have you ever thought there was more to the original BioShock game? Besides what was literally screamed at you, I'm looking at you, Andrew Ryan. What lies in the deep corners of the game that's a little bit more subtle if you don't pay attention, and what does it mean? So if you've played through the game, you've seen Greek mythology plastered everywhere. Neptune's Bounty, Prometheus Point, Arcadia, Poseidon Plaza, Hephaestus, Olympus Heights, and Apollo Square. But what does all this Greek mythology add to the story? In Greek mythology, Atlas betrayed Zeus, the owner of Olympus, and caused a war when Atlas and his brothers sided with the Titans. After the end of the war, Atlas was punished for this by having to eternally hold up the sky. Zeus also fathered Hercules through a not-so-legitimate relationship with a mortal girl. Remind you of anything in the game? Zeus is Andrew Ryan. Atlas as well. Atlas. The mortal girl is Jasmine Jolene, and Hercules is Jack. Okay? Okay. That covers the basic plot of the story, but that doesn't necessarily contribute to the meaning of the game. My first playthrough of the game, I was able to make this connection in the game. However, this is leaving out, half the story, the gameplay itself, and the major plot twist. It took a second playthrough for me to watch the not-so-obvious references for me to get the rest of the illusions. In the beginning of the game, you encounter 4 pieces of the game: Atlas, Splicers, Adam, and Eve. Atlas seems to be trustworthy, saving you from a splicer with one of the security bots. He then introduces you to Adam and Eve. Near the end of the game, you learn Atlas has been using you as a slave throughout the game with the hypnotic trigger.
Now, would you kindly...
As I played through the game for a second time, I made connections to biblical allusions that I resisted at first, but couldn't help but make as I noticed things in the game. In Genesis 3, Adam and Eve have been created and have been forbidden to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Satan then tempts Adam and Eve to eat the fruit, saying, "Ye shall be as gods." This event then is the cause of the biblical idea of sin nature, which is the idea that men naturally tend to do evil, which the psalmist David describes by saying, "In sin did my mother conceive me." In the game, Atlas is revealed to be Frank Fontaine, who is a con man. He tells you to use Adam, which throughout the game makes religious references to the fruit that Adam and Eve ate. For example, the Eve upgrade is pictured as an apple, which is a common picture of the fruit that Adam and Eve ate. Also, in the advertisement for Eve's garden, it says, "Come bite the apple." So the game really is trying to say something here. But what? The Adam and hypnotic trigger are adding to a main theme in the game. The hypnotic trigger, the linear narrative, and even the level design itself all add to an ancient debate on free will. The game shows a character that is guided along by his environment. So are we victims of circumstance and influence, or do we choose our own path? While the game screams that we have no free will through one of the greatest plot twists in gaming, the game adds a unique twist to its own story's philosophy. It's interesting that in the game that mainly gives players no free will in most of the game's story and has a plot twist to highlight this, the game gives players choice in one of the most important parts of the game. When you kill a Big Daddy, you go to the little sister it protects. You then have a choice whether to save or harvest the little sister. If you harvest the little sister, you get 160 Adam. If you save the little sister, you get 80 Adam. Well, it's true you get a bonus gift of 200 Adam from Dr. Tenenbaum every 3 little sisters you save. The game is significantly harder because of the timing of the gift and the flow of the game. The gift usually comes at the end of the level, and the gift is in the game more to make the game possible if you save all the little sisters, rather than being an incentive for saving them. In fact, you get less Adam by the end of the game if you save all the little sisters rather than harvest them. There are 21 total little sisters in the game. If you multiply 21 by the 160 Adam you get from harvesting a little sister, you get 3,360 Adam. If you multiply 21 by the 80 you get from saving the little sisters and add 1,400 you get from the gifts, you get 3,080 Adam. While it's not a huge difference, it is a substantial difference and goes to show there's no benefit in gameplay for saving the little sisters. So why do it? While Fontaine and Ryan do it through different methods, they both follow the same ideology. Both Andrew Ryan and Frank Fontaine only exist to make themselves more powerful than the other. Fontaine does it through trickery and deception, while Ryan does it through brute force of will and wanting to follow his ideology of a man chooses, a slave obeys. Andrew Ryan's name means the Little King, but his name is also an acronym for We Are Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand is the author of Atlas Shrugged, which prominent theme was selfishness is a virtue, while altruism, ignoring self-concern for well-being of others, is evil. Ken Levine, director and writer of BioShock, even admits to using the novel as inspiration. The game has remarks on bioethics and other modern-day issues, which I'll cover in later videos, but the choice whether to save or harvest a little sister springboards them all. It makes you decide to follow the same self-serving ideology or not. Did you? So that's the end of today's video, but let me know what you thought. What did you do in BioShock, and did you even think about what you were doing? Post in the comments below and make sure to hit that subscribe button.